Hey everyone, Movie Subway here. Today we're diving into one of the most daring, emotional, and deeply human films ever made, Jojo Rabbit 2019. The story begins in the fictional German town of Falkenheim, where a 10-year-old boy named Jojo lives. He's small, innocent, and can't even tie his shoelaces properly, but in his mind he's destined for greatness. His biggest hero, and his imaginary best friend, is none other than Adolf Hitler. Jojo is completely consumed by Nazi ideology. He dreams of becoming Hitler's personal bodyguard someday, and he'll do anything to prove his loyalty to the right. Hitler had created a special youth camp for boys aged 10 to 14, and Jojo joins it along with his best friend Yorkie. The camp is loaded with kids just like them, excited, brainwashed, and ready to serve their nation. Captain Klenzendorf gathers the boys and announces, "You've all been given a special dangerous knife. Keep it with you at all times. Your training will begin right now. Trench digging, grenade throwing, map reading, gas defense, everything a good soldier must know." Meanwhile, the girls are trained separately by Fräulein Rahm, who proudly tells them they'll learn basic first aid and how to become good future mothers for the fatherland. During hand-to-hand combat practice, Jojo freezes. He's terrified and steps back. Up in the watchtower, the older boys notice this and decide it's time to teach Jojo a painful lesson. During the most important moment of training, learning to kill, the older boys place a rabbit in Jojo's hands and say, "Come on, Jojo, kill it." Jojo swears he's not scared, but he simply can't hurt the little animal. He tries to let it escape, but before he can, one of the older boys grabs the rabbit and kills it instantly. He looks at Jojo and spits out, "Your father ran away from this city 2 years ago. He was a coward, and you're just like him, a pathetic little rabbit." The kids start chanting and teasing him, giving him a new humiliating name, Jojo Rabbit. Embarrassed and heartbroken, Jojo runs into the woods and collapses at the base of a tree. That's when his imaginary friend Hitler appears. Hitler comforts him. Rabbits aren't weak. They're fast, clever, brave. They risk their lives every day to find food for their families. You can be like them. You are a rabbit, a brave one. Motivated, Jojo returns to the camp, determined to prove himself. He grabs a live grenade from Klenzendorf's hand and throws it with all his strength, but it bounces off a tree, lands right at his feet, and explodes. Jojo is severely injured and rushed to the hospital. A few days later, he wakes up in his bedroom, his face stitched, his leg bandaged, and his confidence shattered. He thinks he looks horrible, but his mother, Rosie, gently cups his face and says, "You're not ugly. These scars, they're proof of your bravery, proof that you're becoming a strong young man. Don't you ever forget that." After Jojo heals, Rosie drags him to the camp and angrily beats up Captain Klenzendorf, blaming him for her son's injuries. She refuses to risk Jojo's life again, so Klenzendorf assigns Jojo a safer job, posting Nazi propaganda posters across the city and delivering conscription letters door to door. Jojo does this job with childlike excitement and patriotic pride. At the town square, he sees a row of people hanging from gallows. He nervously asks Rosie who they are. She answers quietly, "They were fighting for their freedom, and the Nazis killed them for it." Rosie heads to work. Jojo finishes his tasks and returns home. Inside the house, he hears strange noises coming from his dead sister Inga's old room. Terrified, Jojo slowly walks in. On the wall, he notices a strange symbol carved into the panel. He pokes his knife into the slot and pushes. A hidden wall opens. Inside is a tiny secret room filled with scattered belongings, and in the corner, a girl, Elsa Kor. Jojo thinks she's a ghost and screams, but before he can escape, Elsa grabs him and snatches his knife. She leans close and says, "Yes, now you understand. I'm a Jew, and if you dare tell your mother or anyone that I'm hiding here, I'll tell the Nazis you and your mother were helping me, and they'll hang both of you, just like the others." Jojo, terrified after meeting Elsa, hides in his room and talks to his imaginary Hitler, trying to decide what to do next. Hitler suggests a brilliant plan. Make peace with Elsa, gain her trust, and when the moment is right, kick her out of the house. With that thought, Jojo grabs another knife and goes back to Elsa's secret room, but Elsa still refuses to talk to him. She snatches his second knife too and kicks him out again. That night, Jojo tries to tell Rosie the truth. He nervously says, "Mom, I think I saw Inga's ghost. I hear weird noises from her room." Rosie already knows Elsa is hiding upstairs, so she calmly replies, "That's not a ghost, sweetheart. It's probably just mice. Don't worry, I'll take care of them." Later that night, while Jojo sleeps, Rosie sneaks upstairs with food for Elsa. She warns her quietly, "Jojo almost heard you today. If he finds out you're here, he might tell someone. And in times like these, I don't know where I'd send you to keep you safe." Elsa doesn't tell Rosie she has already met Jojo. Instead, she says, "Maybe I should talk to him myself. Maybe he'll listen to me. You don't know Jojo. He's obsessed with Hitler. He'd do anything a Nazi tells him, even hurt someone like you. I know there's still a sweet, innocent child inside him, the one who used to play and laugh. But he's been brainwashed, and I can't lose Jojo. Not the way I lost Inga." Jojo hears everything. He's awake, listening, confused. He can't understand why his mother is helping a Jew. The next day, Jojo goes to Captain Klenzendorf, pretending to be curious. He asks him all sorts of questions about Jewish people. Klenzendorf replies, "If you ever see a Jew, let me know. I'll inform the Gestapo. They'll kill the Jewish person and anyone who was helping them." Hearing that, Jojo Jojo becomes even more convinced that Jews must be dangerous creatures, so he decides to write a book, a scientific guide to identify Jewish people. In his mind, this book will protect Germany from the evil monsters. He goes back to Elsa and says, "I know my mom is hiding you here, but she doesn't want me to know. Fine, I won't tell her, but in return, you'll tell me everything about Jews for my book." Elsa agrees and sits on Inga's bed. That instantly angers Jojo. "How dare you sit there? That was my sister's bed." Elsa calmly says, "I knew Inga. We were best friends. And believe it or not, I know you too, Jojo." But Jojo doesn't care. He keeps interrogating her. Elsa tells him, "Hitler has filled your heads with lies. You think Jews are demons, but we're normal people just like you. We eat, sleep, laugh. There's nothing mystical about us for your stupid book." Jojo snaps and angrily calls Jews evil, wicked, monstrous. Elsa finally loses her patience. She covers his mouth and says, "You think Jews are weak? We're not. We believe in God. We pray. While you follow a silly little man with a tiny mustache into a war you don't understand." She pushes Jojo onto the bed and storms back into her hidden room. A little while later, Rosie comes home, glowing with hope. She tells Jojo, good things are coming. The Allies have taken Italy, and soon France will fall too. The war will end soon, and happiness will return. But this makes Jojo furious. He shouts, "You're celebrating? We're losing the war. Don't you love our country?" Rosie answers gently, "I love my country, Jojo, but I don't love war. War gives nothing. It only destroys." Jojo starts feeling down again, so Rosie decides to cheer him up the only way she knows how, by dressing up like his father and dancing around the house. And Jojo can't help it. He smiles, laughs, and dances with her. The next morning, Jojo heads straight to Elsa's room again, asking about her family. Elsa says, "I can't tell you much about my family, but you can see my fiancé Nathan." She opens a small locket. Inside is Nathan's photo. "My Nathan proposed to me right after reading his favorite Rilke poem. He's out there fighting Nazis right now, and when the war ends, he'll come rescue me. We'll go to Paris. We'll finally be free." Jojo scoffs, "I can't believe Jews even know what love is." Elsa smiles sadly. "Oh, little Jojo, you know nothing about love. When you love someone, everything feels better, even if you're a mess, even if the world is falling apart." But Jojo doesn't listen. He steals Rilke's poetry books from downstairs, writes fake love letters, and pretends they're from Nathan. Also, Elsa will keep giving him Jew facts for his book. Some days later, Rosie takes Jojo for a walk along the river. She tells him, "This place used to be alive, Jojo. People dancing, laughing, falling in love." But Jojo just rolls his eyes. Rosie then explains what childhood is supposed to be. Kids shouldn't argue about politics. They should climb trees, scrape their knees, and most importantly, they should dance, not live in fear. But Jojo still doesn't get it. He rides off on his bike. Rosie follows behind him. As they reach the main road, a truck full of German soldiers drives past them. Exhausted, defeated, broken. War is eating Germany from the inside. Back at home, Jojo returns feeling the same heaviness. Elsa tries to cheer him up with silly Jewish myths and monster drawings, the kind of nonsense Nazis spread about Jews, but she twists them into jokes just to make Jojo smile. Jojo starts laughing, and imaginary Hitler hates it. He shows up furious, warning Jojo to stay away from Elsa. Jojo agrees, but later that night, as Jojo sleeps, Rosie goes to Elsa's room. She tells her, "Jojo's been acting different. Maybe he heard you. Maybe he thinks you're Inga's ghost. You remind me of my daughter. I never got to see her grow up, but I will see you grow. I won't let this world break you." Elsa, curious, asks, "What does it feel like becoming a woman? How do you know who to trust in a world like this?" Rosie smiles. "When you're older, you'll have freedom. You'll drive cars, drink wine, fall in love with whoever you choose. Trust? You'll learn. Your heart always knows who deserves it." The next day, Jojo meets Captain Klenzendorf and tells him proudly about his Yoo-Hoo Jew book. Klenzendorf barely looks at it. Instead, he sends Jojo to help gather scrap metal around the city. Jojo puts on a tin armor suit like the other kids and starts collecting junk. On the streets, he sees Rosie again, quietly leaving secret Free Germany messages, resistance notes on walls and corners. Jojo is confused. She's opposing the very man he worships. Before he can process it, Yorkie shows up in a tiny soldier's uniform, now officially a part of the army. Jojo tells him everything about Elsa. Yorkie shrugs and says, "Oh Jojo, I caught a Jew once. Turns out they're just people. Maybe we've been wrong about them." And he wanders off. Those words hit Jojo hard. He goes back home and gives Elsa new pencils, telling her to draw real Jewish faces instead of monster sketches. Elsa looks at him gently and says, "Jojo, you're not a Nazi. You're just a 10-year-old boy who likes uniforms and wants to belong. But you're not like them. Not even close." Jojo's heart softens. He's starting to feel something, maybe admiration, maybe love. But right then, the Gestapo has arrived. and with them, Captain Klenzendorf. All of this chaos was happening because Rosie had been secretly resisting Hitler. Inside the house, Captain Herman begins questioning Jojo about his special knife, but before Jojo can say a word, Elsa suddenly appears, holding that same knife. Calmly, she lies. "My name is Inga, Jojo's sister." Herman demands her ID. Elsa pulls out Inga's papers and hands them to Captain Klenzendorf. Klenzendorf stares at Elsa and asks her one simple question. "Inga, what's your birthday?" Elsa answers, but she gives the wrong date. Klenzendorf pauses, looks at her, and then hands the ID back as if nothing's wrong. He doesn't expose her. Herman and the Gestapo begin flipping through Jojo's Yoo-Hoo Jew book, laughing at his devil-like drawings of Jews, mocking Elsa, taunting her. Elsa wants to scream, but she stays silent. Eventually, they find nothing illegal, no pamphlets, no messages, no evidence against Rosie, so the Gestapo leaves. When the door shuts, Elsa whispers, "I gave the wrong birthday. Klenzendorf should have exposed me. Why didn't he? Maybe they'll be back ready this time." Captain Klenzendorf is a good man. He won't tell anyone, and no one knows Inga died. You can pretend to be her. When Mom gets home, I'll explain everything. We'll tell her we're friends. Elsa turns away and says quietly, "No, Jews and Nazis can never be friends." Confused and heartbroken, Jojo goes to his imaginary Hitler. Maybe you were wrong," Jojo says. "Elsa isn't bad. She could have told the police and gotten rid of me, but she didn't." Hitler snaps back. "You're forgetting your duty. Jews manipulate children like you. They weaken the fatherland. Get a grip, or we will lose this war." But Jojo ignores him and wanders through the city. At the square, he stops breathing. Hanging in front of him is his mother, Rosie. Her shoes, familiar. Her presence, gone. Jojo collapses, hugging her legs, sobbing uncontrollably. His world shatters. He stumbles home. Inside the house, he charges toward Elsa with a knife, ready to blame her for everything, ready to kill her, but he can't. He drops the knife, falls apart. Elsa holds him gently and says, "I knew Rosie was part of the resistance. She didn't tell you because she wanted to keep you safe. And your father, he's alive. He's fighting the Nazis from outside Germany." She explains how Nazis took her parents away, how she was smuggled from house to house, until Rosie found her and hid her. Jojo finally understands. Jews aren't monsters. Nazis just poisoned people's minds, destroyed families, and turned neighbors into enemies. He asks her softly, "When you're free, the very first thing you'll do, what is it?" "I'll dance, just like your mother." And for the first time in days, Jojo smiles. With Rosie gone, money stops coming. Jojo digs through trash cans for leftover food. Meanwhile, the war grows brutal. Russia, America, and the Allies close in. Yorkie meets Jojo again and explains, "Our situation is terrible. Hitler was doing horrible things behind everyone's back. He finally realized we're losing and shot himself. The world is collapsing. American planes bomb the city. Buildings fall. Soldiers die in the streets. Fräulein Rahm is so desperate, she hands rifles to children, even to Jojo, forcing them to fight. But Jojo, after watching the horror of war unfold in front of him, is terrified. He runs. He hides. He just wants to survive." A little while later, the Nazis had completely lost the war. American soldiers stormed the city, raising their victory flags and rounding up every surviving German soldier. Jojo had been wearing his German uniform, so the soldiers grabbed him too, pushing him down beside the captured Nazis. Captain Klenzendorf looks at Jojo, bruised, broken, and terrified, and says quietly, "Jojo, I never agreed with Hitler either, but men like us didn't have a choice. Don't worry, everything's gonna be okay." But Klenzendorf knows the truth. If Jojo stays in that uniform, the Americans will shoot him with the rest. So he rips the uniform off Jojo's back, shoves him away, and screams at the top of his lungs, "Get out of here, you little Jew. Get this filthy Jew away from me." The soldier believes it and drags Jojo outside the execution area. Jojo turns one last time, just in time to hear the gunshots. Klenzendorf is gone. Jojo runs terrified, heartbroken, until he bumps into Yorkie, alive and somehow completely unharmed. Yorkie tells him he's quitting the army and going home. Jojo rushes home too. The building is still standing, and inside, Elsa is safe. She asks, "Did we win the war?" Jojo panics. If he tells her the truth, she'll leave him forever. So he lies. "Yes, Hitler won. We did it." Elsa feels her heart sink. She turns away, hiding her tears. Later, Jojo looks at the photo of his sister Inga and realizes he can't keep Elsa trapped out of fear. He picks up a blank sheet of paper and reads it like a letter from Nathan. "Dear Elsa, times are hard, but stay brave. Jojo and I have made a plan to get you out of Germany. Do whatever he says, and he'll bring you to me in Paris." Elsa steps out and says softly, "You don't have to do this anymore. Nathan died last year. Tuberculosis. But thank you. These letters, they kept me alive. You kept me alive." Jojo takes a breath and finally tells the truth. "The real reason I wrote those letters is, I love you. Even if you see me as a little brother, I still..." Elsa smiles sadly and says, "I do love you, Jojo. Like a little brother." And strangely, that's enough for him. He leads her toward the door, ready to face the real world. Suddenly, his imaginary Hitler appears again, bullet wound in his head, screaming at Jojo to stop, to obey him, to stay loyal. But Jojo doesn't hesitate. He kicks Hitler out the window, ending him forever. Elsa steps outside and sees American soldiers marching with their flags. Freedom, real freedom. She turns back and slaps Jojo. Not out of anger, but because he lied about the war. And then, for the first time in their lives, they feel the world open up, a quiet breath of freedom. They look at each other and they dance. Sometimes heroes don't look like soldiers. Sometimes they're just two kids who decide to keep dancing even when the world around them falls apart. If this story touched your heart, then you already know, love will always beat hate. Always.